And as you mentioned before, the defense is really key to this map. If you can succeed on defense, you've got a leg up. And there goes Glaz. There's a SK taking that off right off the board. There's not going to be Slash playing on that Glaz at all. And it makes sense. We always talk about how Glaz is just constantly banned on Coastline.
Very powerful operator we saw demonstrated by Geo yesterday for EG. Kind of like the only real success they were pulling out of their game against Rogue was, or it wasn't even against Rogue. Rogue banned the Glaz, but their game earlier against Market. Saw Geo going off, a Lion ban and a Mira ban. Wow, very original.
This is, obviously a little predictable. It's always, for me, it's this last ban. That's the, and Echo actually hasn't been banned a lot because of Clash being in the mix, which has made it a little more interesting. In this case, of course, saying that means it's going to happen. So there you go. You're welcome.
And SK definitely do strike me as the team who would roll a Clash. I didn't see specifically, at least from their border game against Secret, only got to watch a couple rounds in between casting games in the BYOC section. I didn't see much Clash, but they do strike me as the team who would pull it out.
Now, of course, this being SK's map meant Rogue got to pick the side, so of course they're going to start on attack, which is the favored side, and this is where that hookah is going to come out and keep it interesting because that's not normally a primary bomb site except maybe for core, but in this case, they're going to bring it up because they are that kind of team. We might even see Blue Sunrise as their secondary red after this, whether they win it or not, but it should be fun to see. And Slash, again on that Ying we were talking about yesterday, but Capitao has been a good operator for them, so I expect some good things this round from that.
Capitao, Ying, 6-picking from the Sledge to the IQ was easily. We saw him playing the IQ against EG on Consulate yesterday and having a lot of success with the new recoil pattern on the 5.52. And, of course, with the Grim Sky update, all the recoils are a little more favorable.
Absolutely.
Other than those secondary SMGs.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we've still seen a fair amount of them. We've still seen the Bearing 9 a bit. I mean, we're mostly seeing the CZ subbed out for the SMG 12. SMG 11's obviously not going anywhere as there's not a lot of viable alternatives. But it's definitely been fun to see how teams are adapting to that. And I wouldn't say that, you know, the SMG 11, for example, has just been completely nerfed. Because you saw Clips, you know, just completely rocking with Sledge yesterday and doing a fantastic job. We've seen some other great Sledge play from Fox, example, last game. So definitely think teams are adapting quickly. And I think that's going to benefit them. But it seems like Zofia, a bit of a mainstay here, and one that's going to crush from Shuttle. He's really showing off on that operator so far.
Yeah, Shuttle's been rocking the Zofia for a very long time now, and like you said, lots of success. I imagine that'll continue here as Shuttle's one of the more proficient players to come alive late game yesterday against EG, most specifically. It was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Eclipse on Clubhouse who had, I think, 10 kills through 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And by the end of the game, Shuttle had eclipsed him, eclipsed in kills.
You didn't even mean to do that one, did you?
No, I didn't.
Nice.
But yeah, Shuttle came alive late game on a Legion hold on defense as well. So
absolutely.
The setup from Rogue here, a little interesting. It's a hookah attack. Most typically, you're either going through VIP or Aquarium.
This is always a fun one to see. When you have the Ying right there, that means those Candel's going to go right behind that bar, which is going to be predictable, right? You have to burn out the ADSs because it looked like they were hiding behind that bar. So this is going to be fun. If Slash can win that fight, then they start to get good progress. But if he loses that fight, this attack actually starts getting a huge detraction from it. So I think that's going to be a pivotal one in this matchup here.
So roamer downstairs. I don't know who it is. It might be Houghton or Mint. There's actually 2. There was one down in security as well. Mint on the Ella currently playing at the bottom of Cool Vibes stairs. Houghton laying down as well. So Houghton not on the roam game. Guessing Jarvis by process of elimination of who you'd rather have on site down by security.
Yeah,
but flanks in place for both staircases.
Yeah, we talked a bit before about Jarvis being on the roam and maybe not being supported on this map when we saw them play it last time. This case, they are multiple roamers, so I do think that plus the Black Eyes being available and the Elemines, I think they should be better supported this time, and I think the roam game should be, I would say, upped a little bit from what we saw before.
A wide peek coming out from Nix. He's going to start things off onto Eclipse. Deep inside of Aquarium. He's going to get a second one before Easily finally trades him out. A man deficit for Rogue as they are now a man down with a minute left. Smoke canisters going off from Pojo deep towards the luggage hallway door.
There's that pivotal fight I was talking about. I didn't expect them to lose 2 on it. I thought maybe Slash, but losing both of the attackers there, that was a big deal. And it's both of the attackers that would have been able to counter that bar as well. Leaves them in a tough spot because they have no utility outside of Zofia to try and push that. They might just straight up ignore it at this point and try and play around it. So good defense so far. And there goes at least a trade back. Nicely done.
Houghton pressing out from his Cool Vibe stairs location. Will get taken down by Easily to level man count, but 30 seconds remaining. That's Pojo Man's last smoke canister from behind the bar where Nix was previously playing. The impacts And now the stun canisters being launched in to burn out the ADS. His final one going to detonate onto Pojo as he peeks out from the bar. He'll get shut down by Shuttle. Mint, though, with a nice trade as he flanks in from behind, will drop easily. Shuttle with another one onto Mint. It's a 2v1 for Rogue now as they've clawed back from the man deficit. Claymore being deleted now as Jarvis comes in through the luggage flank. Lots of Valcams applying pings, but it'll be super on the Hibana to finish it off from the VIP hallway, and Rogue are going to take round number 1.
Obviously, the big flaw in that defense there was the kills, initial ones, were not on Shuttle.
Yes.
To be fair, though, Super definitely a great finish on that on what is typically a bit of a support operator, but nonetheless, great pickup by those guys. And that's, again, the pattern we see time and time again yesterday from Rogue that I pointed out was they can lose a few initial people and still pick it up. And I think that's that flexibility of the team showing. They've been kind of working towards a more flexible set of roles, different ways to play things. They'll swap operators. Someone pointed out it's kind of more like a Penta G2 style of play, and it's working out for them. They're not getting down to a situation where it's like, oh, it's only so-and-so left. They can't make this. It's just, no, they're able to clutch it out. And what should have been an SK round, I think, definitely went over to Rogue. And now we get to go to Kitchen. Despite them not winning that defense, as I said, they probably would switch up. But no Blue Sunrise bar next, unfortunately. Maybe third.
Yes, and just a heads up to all the viewers at home, the overlay is currently incorrect. We have Rogue and SK on the incorrect sides, but we'll get that fixed up for you, no problem. It was Rogue taking that round on the attack. And we talked about attacking roles and attacking rounds being so pivotal because Coastline is that attacker-favored map. We've seen that now, and it's up to SK to really make the difference and to win those defensive sides. Now, Hookah, probably not your best bet to really take that first round, but it was a good throw-off. I think Rogue right now are really trying to bring a lot of confusion. We've seen this Ying stick for 2 consecutive rounds, the Capitao on Eclipse as well, so
I don't expect them to change till they feel they need to.
No.
At least they're going to be able to spot these Valkyrie cameras that they keep throwing out, and that's a good spot. But also, Jarvis is now going to be on the Vigil, something he wasn't last round. That, again, is going to be countered by that IQ, so I think those picks being consistent is going to work out for them because they have a lot of utility on that. It's just the question of whether or not they could get to use that. For example, Slash dying early last time on the Ying meant they didn't get to use the Candles for the push, but they fragged out instead. And it's a case where maybe they can make up for some utility loss just with gunpowder. In this case, because they have a lot of flexibility on that, you know, rather than bringing Thermite or anything like that, they've got the Hibana for the flexibility. Obviously not going to bring in Maverick anytime soon. It's not really necessary on this map, but still should be interesting to see whether or not the changes on the SK side in terms of their roam work out. But this time, because you saw, they did a good job roaming. They just were so deep roaming that by the time they tried to come and be effective, they were caught rotating at that point. And it's a timing thing, unfortunately.
So heading to the kitchen now will be SK, as there goes the overlay getting swapped up. Nice and beautifully done. And it will be Rogue trying to attack. And similar to the Hookah push, I mean, there's 2 pretty standard ways to take in towards Kitchen. You either go for the full Sunrise Assault, or you get upstairs, you get that VIP control and Master Bedrock control. You rip up the floor, displace the anchors, but the big proponent of this site is the roaming potential. You have most of the map to be able to maneuver, and the safety of the security hallway where Jarvis and Mint are currently stationed. Not too many people have access to that from the outside. It's really just the office door, and if you really want to go for the rappels, outside CC.
And it's a little surprising that they're not playing anyone in theater at all, but that had not really worked out for Jarvis previously, and it was a little too predictable. So I think that's why they're going for maybe a different kind of roam. But having 2 men over there will at least support them to maybe trade each other if they're close enough, which I think is, again, something that they would lack before. And it's something I've seen in a lot of the pattern over the Pro League season is that if you don't have at least a way to trade, chances are you're going to lose your roamers for nothing. You need to have them set up for that trade. And this is a bomb site that can support that because you have a lot of downstairs control, and the lobby itself becomes a good fighting ground for that. So if you play that security, you're able to rotate to that lobby from the side. It's just unfortunate they don't have anyone with any kind of top floor control, just giving that right over to Rogue, who aren't even bothering with it.
Oh, just spotting out someone hopping on the on cameras. It was easily with the electronics detectors. You can now, well, I guess now is incorrect term. It's been out for a while, but IQ can spot any defenders sitting on the phones. I believe it was Jarvis. Might have been using the ERC actually instead over inside of office. 2-man roam game on the far side, killing a lot of time as deceptively we are down to 30 seconds on the round for Rogue to make a take. And it looked initially like they were just going to go for the kitchen or swarm from Sunrise, but now they're going to launch the Candelas in through the kitchen window. Shuttle hopping into blue bar, taking the corner very slowly, gonna spot out Jarvis and dispatch of him swiftly. Smoke canisters from Pojo Man going to miss. Lots of fire from the T95 of Slash. Also, Errant, Shuttle gonna grab one onto Mint, but Hotton gonna trade it with the MPX onto Slash. Defuse gets planted, and the hop out by Super as he's gonna cover. Level man count now in a 3v3. Nix with a great shot with the Alda. Covering from above, though, as easily as he's in perfect position. The only one to go up top. A baited defuse as easily as on top of two defenders. Now trying to stick it. Easily just spotting out the feet of Pojo. Hotton will drop simultaneously, and it's all up to Nix now in a 1v2. He's got the cover from above of Easily to deal with. Nix going to the hallway, lighting up the Capital, but Eclipse is going to clutch it out in Rogue, going to take the first 2 rounds on Coastline.
That felt like a continued pattern of losing people early. I think they lost, Rogue lost maybe too many gunfights that they should have won. They had advantageous situations. So you saw, for example, Slash, he had the ammo count to be able to fire for a while, but because he paused briefly and had to start back up again, that just gave the opportunity to peek him, and they took advantage of that. But in the end, the clutch players were there. The plant was down because they were so busy distracting the rest of the team. It did a good job taking advantage of what little spread out there was, and also sectioning off that kitchen. And it was a good use of those Candelas to just clear it and go for that plant. And unfortunately, the missed smoke did not help things. So overall, good execute by Rogue. That got a little messy in the middle, that seems to be the pattern here. They seem to be struggling a little bit with those initial entries, but I guess that's what entry is for, right? Is to get in there, get messy, and get things done. And they were able to stick it in the end. It was a good fight there by Eclipse as well, managing to pull that out. Although the play from Easily above kind of locked that out. I'm surprised they didn't try and play against him a little bit more. When you have the Alda like that, they probably could have pre-fired a good chunk of that floor to be able to maybe attach damage on. I mean, all it has to take, right, is one angled shot up to hit the face, and that's a kill.
And it was, it looked like it was going to be a good read from SK. Typically, when you see that Sunrise only push for the kitchen defense from the attacking side, you want to have those flankers stationed over by CCTV in office. That's your perfect flank opportunity. Shuttle reading Jarvis like a book on the jump in and just taking the angle safely. Jarvis not aggressively peeking the angle, wanting to stay alive for that late flank to be detrimental to the push late round. The only problem was that they didn't account for Easily to be the lone man to go upstairs. That was kind of the curveball there, is that everyone from Rogue was signaling and telegraphing really that they're going to go for that Sunrise push, but Easily making a smart play and heading topside to have that top control, really saving the round for them, because if you tried to cover from kitchen window, there were 2 directly on the diffuser as I believe it was, no, it wasn't Nix, I believe it was Hotton trying to stick the defuse.
It makes sense, though, to send him upstairs as well, because he's going to be able to spot a lot of guys just a lot more safely in a situation where he can even, like, as you mentioned, spot those phones, kind of figure out where people are positioned as good as possible. There's, again, all those ADSs stacked up, just like last time, 2 ADSs to try and protect this. Will they be able to win this fight this time? I think if they can pressure a little more accurately. Last time it was down to the player over on the couch that was able to get things with a crossfire. This time they're stacking up on one door so that crossfire won't be as viable, but they've got to be able to get around. There we go. That's a good use of the fire. Does force him out, and there's a nice initial kill. Much better execute this time.
So Nick's going to fall instead of getting the 2K initially, but a botched Candela from the Ying on Slash almost screwed up Eclipse there as he was trying to send in the last asphyxiating bolt to stop the rotate out of Nyx. He got full blinded and was just in the middle of the doorway. Thankfully, Slash was there, and the Ying with her visor cannot be blinded by her own Candelas.
Yeah.
Saving the day there is Slash. So Nyx will fall, the Evil Eyes will be locked in place and unusable to plant delay. And this is a much better start for Rogue, even after going so slow on the first attack onto Hookah. They're even, or winning that round, sorry, they're looking even better now.
And they still have 2 Candelas there to help with the plant if Slash could live that long, and that's a good position to be in. But right now, it's all about map control. They've got to get it, and they've got to secure and get those flank watches to get set up for that execute. They do have the man advantage, and the first kill being on Maestro is a big one because we've seen how clutch Maestro could be when he's playing sight towards the end and you're trying to execute on it. All those bullets really can hold you off and get some great long angles. So now it's just going to be a manhunt on the other roamers. You see getting very close to that right now, and unfortunately, very bad timing by Easily, just working against him. But he does find one. Unfortunately, at just the wrong moment.
Pojo firing through the floor, and Mink grabs 2 with the Scorpion. It's down to a 2v4 for Rogue. And this might be the start of an SK run back on defense. Playing right in behind the bar, I believe it's Pojo on the smoke. Hotton over by Cool Vibe Stairs was pre-firing in, giving the call for Pojo to shoot down through the floor. Super repelled on the big window and Shuttle inside of Aquarium with 30 seconds remaining. Shuttle's gonna reacquire the diffuser and go for the Russian immediately, just wide peeking into the middle of the billiards room, spraying wildly into Hookah. Not gonna land any shots, and Super's gonna relocate to the Hookah balcony stairs, try and press in on a flank. He's not gonna have any position to cover Shuttle when he tries to go in for the plant. Pojo and Houghton are gonna end it, and SK get the first one on the board.
Well, credit to SK, though. Even on the rounds that they're losing, I think they're doing a much better job on a lot of the roam now. Having shored up that is putting them in a much better position. Maybe they're losing some people initially, but their ability to stay alive on the roam game and not get hunted down by Rogue, I mean, we've seen them being able to execute and hunt roamers very quickly. They seem to be able to stay, I mean, maybe they're playing a little too far back, maybe a little too deep and not being as effective on at least pushing them back, but them staying alive is helping towards the end of the round, because once they're starting to push for that push and get that map control, it doesn't seem like they're droning as much, getting as much intel as they could be doing to try and push those roamers out. You saw, for example, Easily just trying to peek corners, and that didn't really work so well because the timing just wasn't there. He maybe needed a teammate to be doing a little bit of drone work for him, but I feel like they're trying to do better time management. They're trying to take control of the map faster, and that is making their droning suffering a little bit. In that case, at least when they get the map control, could hold it is working in their favor. We'll see, though, if they can execute on that again this round. Now that they've changed one thing up, Slash going on to the Blackbeard instead of the Ying, maybe will work a little bit better here, especially if they're going to try and control that window.
Yeah, so heading back down to Kitchen will be SK after being successful on Hookah and Billiards Room. That'll be locked out for the next 2 rounds with the new site rotation. I keep saying new, but this is just for the viewers who maybe haven't been around for a little while and coming back and seeing that things have changed. It is a 2-round site rotation instead of 1 as it was previously. The defense from SK looking identical to last time. Swap out though, as Houghton is going to be over on Doc instead of bringing the Vigil.
That should be, I mean, he plays a very good Doc, though, so I think that will work out and at least be able to fight long angles a little bit better. Maybe that's going to be some of their counter to be able to defend in the kitchen a little bit better in terms of having the Doc and the Maestro to fight those long angles, so if they try and push it from that kitchen, they're not dependent on just hucking smokes over there. But you mentioned before defending against this Blue Sunrise push, that might be Maestro's job here, but he gets spotted by Eclipse, so they're going to be prepared for it. He has the utility to clear anyone behind bar with that fire. So if he can get the intel right and peeking by Slash here to hold people down, they could execute on this well and just get a lot of control right around that doorway fast.
Nyx was going for a spawn peek at the Sunrise entrance, and I like the play. When we talk about Coastline being an attacking favored map, well, how you level the scales, you start things off with a very early pick, possibly onto a crucial operator needed, maybe even just a crucial player like Shuttle or Eclipse, who have that immense fragging power as demonstrated yesterday. And, you know, it's a risky play to make, but he doesn't get caught making it. So it's a zero-sum game there. He doesn't get taken down, doesn't get any kills, runs back to site, and he's in a perfect position to anchor once again. Absolutely.
I mean, it's a risky thing to do on a slow operator like that, but if you can pull it off, it's so worth it. That's why it's always risky to give defenders ACOGs, right?
Thankfully, they're only on the 3 armors now.
So the ones that are slow to rotate back.
Exactly. Auden overhealing himself at Lambo door, playing him behind the main lobby desk. Waiting for anyone to peek, but again from Rogue, they're telegraphing they're going to be going for the Sunrise over push. The one thing from SK I really want to see here is that they have understood what Easily did last time and what befelled them, and that they will readjust and hopefully send someone upstairs to deal with Easily as he's looking downward through the floorboards.
This is definitely a little bit slower of a take this time. They do at least have control of this door, and that angle from Blackbeard, if that could work out, that could definitely cripple this and set up for a plant. But if it doesn't, if they're able to burn a lot of time here on Slash trying to tap fire that, I think this execute is going to get slowed so far down that the Romans are going to have a chance to rotate back for a flank on them and be in position to retake this quickly. We'll see, though. The smokes are finally coming out, though. That's going to slow down the push into the site.
Pojo trying to escape, but Easily has his rotate at the kitchen service doorway, and now he's going to go for his rotate above. So the call is going to come out that he's at the service door, but Easily he's long gone by now. Eclipse taking a little bit of damage, I believe, from the smoke canister. A rotate into courtyard by Hot and Cold on the dock. He's going to get collapsed upon now, trying to escape, gets down and finished off by Slash. It's a 2-man advantage for Rogue as they start pressing the advantage. Nyx's going to grab one, and Jarvis jumps in. Slash and Shuttle both down as the rest of the site push is coming through. It's only going to be 2 men going for the plant. It's going to be all up to Eclipse to cover it as Easily has gone top side once again to cover from VIP. Smoke's coming out from Eclipse. He's a little bit lower on health. The health advantage on the side of SK. A wide peek coming out towards Blue Bar, and Jarvis will fall. Now Easily has come back down to join the plant. Super trying to plant at window with not a lot of cover. He gets off, and he's going to hit the kill onto Nyx. Above, though, there's Mint. He's gone skyward into VIP. Drops down the diffuser, but Eclipse will recover and go for the plant deep. Easily covering at the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs. There's no way to ping out where Eclipse is. Evil Eye not in a position to do so. Both on site to cover. The plant will be completed here by Rogue. Mint with a suppressor on the 416. Slightly surprising. He's going to have to make a comeback of the century. And it looks like he's eyeing to go for a jump out of the big window. He's going to use it as a sound bait, though. He's going to make Eclipse turn towards the outside as he's going to go over towards the main stairs by theater. Plant down inside of service behind the refrigerator or filing cabinet as Mint now crosses through main lobby, coming through courtyard hallway. Prone looking through, trying to find Eclipse through the kill holes that Pojo had previously made, but so is Eclipse in reciprocation. Staring back at one another through a soft wall, but running out of time is Mint as he's trying to rush back in. Right against the soft wall, Eclipse going to be lighting up, but it'll be easily from inside a kitchen by the window to shut down Mint. Rogue take another round back, and they'll be up 3-1.
I loved all the baiting that was happening at the end of that round. You saw Mint doing the baiting, hitting different barricades, acting like he was going to go for a jump out rotate. And then you saw as well, the Eclipse smoke was perfect. He hits the smoke, baits that he's going to go for the plant because there's so few people left in low time, and instead just watches the angle on the corner and Jarvis falls right for it. Just well played. That's the way you bring the retake to you early. Take them out, and then you can plant. Looks like we are going to get a tactical pause, though, I think. Either tactical or technical here. But good start here for Rogue so far. 3-1. They are definitely playing the top of their game.
Yeah, I mean, that's Coastline for you, the attacking game, although I really got to give it to Super for pulling off the plant. Either the call came out that he didn't have the cover. It's a, wow, okay, so Rogue's going to take the tack break. That's a pattern we've seen now with the new tack breaks.
We see mostly Rogue actually doing it early in rounds. It seems like it's, and we talked to Ranger about it last time, it's a case where, you know, you see something that they're maybe not doing right, that something's sloppy or their mentality's not right there or they're getting too aggressive, and he'll call for that and just recollect them. Because I think he wants to take advantage of doing it early before there's a landslide. He's like, you guys are winning the rounds, but I see this trend happening. I'm going to stop you now. We're just going to continue to win and steamroll them rather than give them a chance to make a comeback. And I think that's smart. It seems to be working for Rogue throughout this weekend, and they're being very smart. Obviously, you get one per map, and if they don't feel like they're going to need it later anyways, now's a good time. I mean, you're up 2 points, but either way, they are on the attack, which is the easier side, so it is, I guess, a little surprising to need to use it in this case. But if they see them making some mistakes, or maybe he even just spotted a weakness in what they were doing, and he wants to call their attention to it and say, I see what they're doing here, and you guys can capitalize on it for the last 2 rounds of your attack.
The biggest part of that round, like I was saying before we headed into the break, it is now completed, and we'll head into round number 5, the last side, or the last round on these current sides, at least in regulation, unless we go overtime, sorry.
There's that bar for third.
Yeah, there we go. Blue bar, Sunrise bar, hopefully is a throw-off for SK to bring out another round back in their favor and only leave the split down 1 round. If they're down 4-1, I mean, we've seen it on Coastline multiple times before. It's not the end of the world because of the attack-sided map that Coastline has become. But Super, either getting a call that he didn't have the cover from the doorway because Eclipse was backed off too far, or just innately understanding that he's going to get pushed, pulls off the plant and kills Nyx. That saved the round for them. They lost diffuser at that point. Sure, the trade-out would have come from Eclipse, but he would have had to run across. But Mint was at the window, or at the window above in VIP with the kill holes. If he had stayed on that spot and known that diffuser was down, I don't think he knew quite that diffuser was down at that point. But if he had stayed there looking through the kill hole floors that Marcio is currently highlighting for me as I try to get my point across.
Thank you.
I think that would have been a very different ending. I think Mint would have been able to stay and catch Eclipse as he ran across. Instead of Super getting that kill and then Mint having to take down Super. Yeah, because they had that distance.
A theme of VIP control being a big factor then, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe not in this bomb site, but maybe when it flips sides again as well, that's something to consider is VIP control is being pivotal in some of these plant situations, whether they're going for the plant, covering it, or getting shot down on trying to go to the plant. But this is an early shield shot out on Slash. You're not going to be able to, I feel like Maestro is somehow actually stronger than Blackbeard in terms of contesting that. The amount of damage he can do, he can even tag you with that Evil Eye. So this is gonna be rough in trying to get them out, but he does smartly back off and not going to overexpose himself. More just going to pull the Blackbeard into him, which is the way to do it.
Eclipse and Houghton in a battle right now. Houghton worst for wear in the engagement. Eclipse losing a little bit of damage, but definitely has the damage advantage in the Para versus the MPX. Houghton down to about 28-ish health, and Slash taking a beating on the face shield, but it's keeping him alive here as Nyx is getting very aggressive behind the Sunrise bar towards this Blackbeard. Just does not want to deal with the presence of the face shield assault rifle at all. Slash very wary of a flank, but here comes Nyx right up against the Sunrise entrance window.
The timing is everything here, and it unfortunately does not work out for Nyx, but that was a very smart play. Taking advantage of the fact that the Black Rita backed off. Had he caught the right angle at the right time, that would have been it for Slash.
That was the biggest factor that Mint talked about after dropping Evil Waffle for Nyx, picking him up, was that they needed someone who could play anchor roles but wasn't afraid to go for that extra jump to make the aggressive play. And so far, through a couple rounds, we've seen Nyx go very aggressive on a very anchored role.
He is definitely the one to do that. Sometimes it does cost them, to be fair. That's not always the right choice, especially on Echo. But when he's on Maestro, I think he's making the right calls for it most of the time. You even see him occasionally using the Evil Eye. So I think that was a good choice on their part, and it has filled that role.
Yeah. So more pot shots towards. I think Slash might have just lost both his shields early on. We're actually down to a minute left in the round. It's a 5v5. Slash lost a lot of health in the process too, as Nyx quietly doing a lot of damage. Evil Eye zapping Shuttle and a smoke canister from Pojo going to back him off. He's got no chance to push through in the current form. And this is a rough spot for Rogue, as they really don't have a lot of map control. They're not going for a flank from behind. I think the closest is easily walking through Courtyard Hall by Lambo right now. And he's going to get taken down by Jarvis. Yeah,
this is definitely coming down to just complete lack of ability to push the site. And I credit a lot of that to Nyx being able to hold this back here. They've got to get a few crucial kills, then they've got to push very, very aggressively with some knowledge on where the people are playing. There are some predictable spots, and there's one taking advantage of. Slash finally trading off, you know, I don't need face shields. I'm going to use this great gun, but Jarvis's flank here could cost them as well.
Kill holes from above. Eclipse going to dump the asphyxiating bolts in through the blue bar window. Shuttle coming for a flanking behind, but he's got one on top of the rack inside a kitchen. It's Mint, but he'll lose the engagement. Shuttle walks away with 5 HP. The plant being completed, but Jarvis will end it with a shank to the back. Eclipse falls. SK salvages the first half, only down a round. They'll head into the attacking side in a good position to take Coastline. 2 out of 5 is usually the best you can hope for on defense, and so that means they're at least living up to par here, which is, against a team like Rogue, definitely no easy task. I think this could be interesting, maybe even potential overtime if we could see the same thing from Rogue here. In this case, they'd already used that timeout, so they're not going to be doing so now, but they are going to switch sides, and they're going to start on a surprising bomb site from a team like this is Penthouse Theater, because of the difficulty in defending that site at the moment, especially with the bans as they are. But you never know, they have some prizes in mind. I'm sure this is something they've thought a lot about, looked at the weaknesses currently, and are hoping to exploit maybe some lack of knowledge in how to defend the site. We'll see if they can actually prove that. But I do like the addition of Castle here to be able to control the site flow a little bit more, and that might be a factor, especially now that Castle's slightly stronger, I suppose, but it's only against Glass, who's not in play. Well, they are going to bring out a Dokkaebi, though, on the side of SK. Something that we had not seen at all from Rogue, and I think is a good operator on this map, especially with the way that roamers play. So, heading to Pent Theater, and I think it's been discussed ad nauseum about how difficult Pent Theater has become to hold, especially without Amira. That being taken down in the ban phase, not surprising. Although the Pent Theater pick to me is a little surprising. I think there's enough soft destruction on the board of SK currently that these castle barricades from Eclipse aren't really going to make that much of a difference. Lots of kill holes in the VIP walls from the hallway, including an impact utilized to help just extenuate that even more destruction. As I imagine Rogue will be playing a hefty roam game. That's what you have to do, because you can't really hold from inside of Penthouse. The hold is you're holding from Theater and you're trying to not allow anyone in VIP. If a Theater stairs take comes out, then by all means go for the flank around from Aquarium and Luggage, but it's an easy flank to hold. You just got to hold from inside of Theater, and there's only enough real estate inside of Theater for a couple bodies.
Yeah, I'm always hoping to see a Maverick flank on that Theater wall someday, just because of what you said, how much they have to collapse into that Theater and fight the angles from there. I like the use of the Castle Barricade to kind of isolate this a little bit, but he can also use that to his advantage in the sense that he can kind of put himself in a position where he can fight from there. He's going to open up the top of that wall, but he's going to decide he wants the angles instead. He wants to be able to fight, and that's going to pressure him right out of Penthouse there. Like you said, it's not defensible, and the Castle Barricade was meant to do that, but Maestro going down early is going to hurt poor easily.
Grenade coming out up top, almost takes down Slash. He was very aggressive with shotgun in hand on the smoke at the big window of Penthouse. Shuttle on a roam game over by Aquarium, waiting for any call of which way the direction of the attack is going, and it's seemingly going to be a standard VIP take. Nothing out of the ordinary from SK just yet. They managed to take down easily, and that's the the Meister off the board extremely early. Shuttle going to expose himself behind the pool table, but live to fight another day as he backs off and deals a little bit of damage in towards Nyx as he's covering VIP. Hot and cold. Typically where you see a Blackbeard repel, he's got a buck instead. Frag grenade left in hand. He's going to whoop it out. And Slash pushing the Hall of Fame door is going to take down Nyx with a shotgun, trade it out. And that's unfortunate timing for Houghton to want to deploy the grenade as it was his job to cover on the big window.
This is actually one of my favorite plays from Slash, is the way he plays that big window with a shotgun. He's been so effective at laying people down on that. He can actually play in penthouse because of the fact that he's able to guard the big window by himself with a shotgun. He usually lives long. Now they've got some crossfire from Hall of Fame, so that does force him out, and that was part of what the castle barricade was meant to help with. But I do love that he was able to capitalize on that and get a kill with that shotgun, despite how difficult that can be. But now he's relying on the SMG-11 and those last two smokes to hold this back. And Jarvis could actually be very effective in helping stop that with his Capitao arrows, if they can get a nice angle on that.
Yeah, the reason Houghton dropped off of his angle on the big window is because Slash utilized one of his Toxic Babes to add smoke cover and push Houghton deep. So he'd have the freedom of mobility to go in for that push towards Hall of Fame. A smart play and just unfortunate timing. And another one as Eclipse is going to flank into VIP and take down Jarvis. Houghton in reciprocation drops Slash with a smoke off the board. No more Toxic Babes when Eclipse drops the diffuser behind the B bomb. This is looking good for Rogue to hold out in a 3v2. It's up to Mint and Houghton, repelled in the big window. This is the death sentence for Houghton as Eclipse turns the corner and peeks, looking into VIP now. Mint grabs Shuttle, but Eclipse again on a roll with the UMP on Castle. Rogue extend their advantage by 2, and Penthouse Theater, not the most defensible bomb site in the world, but yet Rogue make it work, and they're 2 rounds away from winning map number 1.
That was a great flank by Eclipse. You don't often see the defenders regaining control of Hall of Fame the way they do, and I do got to credit Slash a lot to being able to play that effectively. Because of the way he was able to control Penthouse for as long as possible, he put them in a position where they were running low on time management, they started running low on people, and he didn't overuse his smoke canisters early. He was more focused on, as you mentioned, using the one for cover, using his shotgun to full effect, and not depending on firing long range with the SMG-11. Because of that, they controlled the site itself for so long, because yeah, it's one that's accessible somewhat from the outside, and without mirror that makes that a big problem for you, but they played it. They played against that, and then Eclipse's fantastic plays really sealed the deal, and I think, you know, we're seeing a good demonstration of why Penthouse is not completely indefensible, but you have to have certain players play certain ways to kind of make it work.
So, Kitchen's service defense now coming out from Rogue. We saw this from SK. I don't believe they were successful downstairs. Oh, they were the last time. That's
yeah, just once.
1 for 2 downstairs.
Wait, no, that was actually, no, they lost Kitchen twice, one hookah once, and bar once.
There you go. I was pretty sure they didn't win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they didn't win Kitchen, but 4-2 advantage for Rogue here, and that's kind of the story, is if you can win your defenses on Coastline, I mean, you're setting yourself up for a good spot, and I mean, it looked like SK were poised to start a run. By all means, it's only been 1 round on the attack for them. It's only 1 round on the defense for Rogue. There's still plenty of time left for SK to bring this back, but I don't know, Kitchen's service to me feels a little more defensible than Penn Theater, and the fact that Rogue were able to take that bomb site specifically away from SK, that's a big note for me that they were able to do that.
Well, again, it might come down to that VIP control above the bomb site, because we've seen that be pivotal in a couple of rounds now, and it's one of those things where it's usually just one person doing it. That's all it takes. You saw easily up there one time. I think it was Jarvis one time as well. It's just the way they're playing it is just leaving that site alone, and because of that, that's giving an advantage to whoever just claims that room, because we're not seeing contests over it. In this case, I imagine we might this time, but we're going to get a different approach here, and this is where Super might have to fight his way out of this. A little bit aggressive for Legion to be in there, but he actually smartly backs off because of that drone that he hears, and that's going to give him some opportunity to just maybe fall back a bit more towards site, which is the right call here. I like the angle, though, coming out from Blue Bar, from Houghton here, to see if he can get some crossfire, catch Super on rotate.
Good collapse here on Sunrise, and Jarvis is going to start things off onto Super as he tries to escape up the Cool Vibe stairs and gets caught off in the middle of the doorway right outside of Hookah. SK mirroring what we saw from Rogue for the most part. Eclipse, though, upstairs covering the defense directly, and Shuttle in tandem over by Billiards. So seemingly Rogue expecting someone to come topside from SK. It hasn't happened just yet, but they are positioning themselves to push through Hookah. I believe Jarvis is going to extend after having this drone ping. Houghton's going to take down Slash inside of sight as well. So a 2-man advantage here for SK on the attack as they start to press in. It's going to be up to this top hold, like you said, the VIP control, but the anchors need to stay alive.
Now, the problem, of course, is the difficulty in rotating back down. If they're not able to stop the defuse from being planted, you saw that, for example, happen to Mint before. So that top floor control is vital here, but if they can't capitalize on it, if the attackers are able to get control, it will fall apart. But Eclipse does make a good use of it, taking down Nyx, which is an important kill.
Just missing the rotate was Jarvis, and now it's actually going to be Eclipse alone as Houghton and Pojo jump in with frags with their own, and the Beretta in hand. Jarvis going to end it, bringing them back within 1 round. So unfortunate there that the anchorage of Kitchen Service unable to stay alive as long as necessary, and the Roamers actually caught as the last 2 remaining when it all came down to it, and then Eclipse last alive at the top of the stairs.
And that was the problem with, they committed a lot of people to upstairs. Yes, they secured upstairs for quite a long time. Jarvis was only able to get control of Hookah, but because of that, they also were weak downstairs. That was completely exploited, and then Jarvis was able to finish that off. And you saw a little bit of that small benefit of the speed boost you get from bringing out the pistol. He was able to juke those bullets a little faster than you might normally. I mean, obviously, Capitao being a 3-speed definitely helps, but a 3-speed with a pistol out, it put him in a good position to dodge that. Obviously, that comes down to timing and small movements, but overall, that it's those small things that make the difference in such a tight match like this. And maybe they might want to commit people, a little less people to top floor next time. I like that they were set up to trade and keep control of it, but that ultimately cost them in terms of defense downstairs. We'll see what they do this round, though, because they're going to try Kitchen again. So we'll see if they make the adjustments necessary. They're going to probably expect Jarvis to come in again from Hookah, as he probably will. I mean, it's a somewhat standard take to take control of that, so maybe they can capitalize on that this round.
I think the initial setup from Rogue was fine, but there's got to be a mid-round call from either Super, who was playing inside of Sunrise, or the 2 Roamers topside that no one's coming upstairs. This is a full Sunrise take. You got to get a rotate down. You got to go for that flank. We talked about CCTV control, and SK demonstrated that perfectly on their first kitchen hold, unfortunately. Same kind of story. The anchors fell and the flanks weren't there. The flank hold was in position there for SK as well in the attack. So
yeah,
the setup was fine. There's just got to be a mid-round adjustment from Rogue to, at least someone's got to make that call saying, it's full Sunrise. We don't need 3 people upstairs. We need to rotate now.
Yeah, and I think it'll be good, too, that Super's changing roles this time. He's not going to be playing it the same way. And I think that was one of the things that definitely helped SK that round, was losing Super that early. Catching him on that pinch there definitely made a difference. I don't think that same thing's going to happen this time. So manpower should be a little bit stronger for Rogue, which will give them the opportunity to cover both top and bottom more effectively. But they've got to bait in what the attack that they saw from SK. If it's repeated, they could bait that in and take advantage of that upstairs. But Eclipse did have some really good plays last round as well.
So Nitro Cell being launched up to the roof above the bathroom hatch by Eclipse. Doesn't do any damage, but at least it'll slow down Houghton on his push towards bathroom, and it looks like SK have altered their push. They're angling in more towards the roof and looking to come top down. Jarvis spotting out 1 Valkyrie cam, dispatch of it easily. Playing that Valkyrie role on defense, I'm sure he's very familiar with all the preset cameras that Valkyries like to use. Ooh, this is a nice spot, and just missing the head of the smoke, but Eclipse will fall. The process, Nyx taking him down upstairs is one of the top holders for Rogue. Yeah,
similar to what we saw get executed on Jarvis before, that push into the theater like that. There's just too much gunpowder that can work against you, but if Super can play a good mobile, I guess, Roamer pushing up to help his teammate, or at least baiting out shots for his teammate to flank the way he seems to be doing. He's just trying to bait him forward, get him in a position, but it doesn't seem like that, I was gonna say that Shuttle wants to budge, but he didn't need to. Nice kill there, and that is Nyx again off the board early, which will help with this now that they have, at least a decent amount of manpower left alive, but losing Eclipse early is gonna hurt a little bit of that firepower.
Slash and Houghton having the same idea, trying to take the same angle in tandem, but back and forth through the grates. I think that Slash is going to have the advantage, definitely not with recoil on the SMG-11, but with the advantage of not being seen as easily through those metal grates down into the darkness from being outside. The lighting advantage clearly in Slash's favor. And Houghton's taking a lot of damage as well, so it's only going to take a couple shots to down him off with the SMG-11 itself. Lots of spray coming in from Jarvis as he's pressing in to grab control of Theater. Penthouse is where Slash. No, that's Shuttle. My bad. Is stationed in behind the bed in Penthouse. Too many S's on Rogue.
This is a great pinch.
Shuttle firing back and forth. Lots of shots through the bed frame, but it's Houghton who successfully drops in through the bathroom hatch to take down Shuttle. It's a Nitro Cell, very important, but Rogue in a better position than they were last time around, late round, and it's actually extended deeper into the time of the round than it did last time as well. Still 2 smoke canisters for Slash. As I say that, 1 remaining. There's 2 attackers stacked outside of the kitchen service door as they launch the smoke canisters deep, but close is Slash, holding off this push in from SK. Gonna pull out the shotgun and drop Pojo. Rotate back to the bathroom to safety. The flank by Super drops one. Making it trade it out and easily with the Alda. And that's gonna round it out. No time for the attackers of SK to push in and get that plant off. A wonderful job by Slash on the smoke to repel that entry at kitchen service door. And a good fill in on the Maestro as well. So, match point in favor of Rogue.
I really enjoy watching Slash play Smoke. The way he plays him is this mix of defensive and aggressive, this kind of judo moves that he does in terms of using the smokes as cover as well as a delay of the attackers is so smart. You saw him use it on the door. He just rotates over for a shotgun play instead. I don't know, I think it's fun to watch as well as it's being very effective. And the way he uses the shotgun is not necessarily the way you would normally use it, where you're kind of holding these sort of 90-degree angles and hoping people push you. He will push them with it. So I don't know, I really enjoy that. I like it as well at the end, the way he's just holding down the LMG. There's no time left. I'm just gonna spray and hope they walk into it or win the round off of that. And again, you mentioned having that positioning late in the round in a situation where they had more people left on site, where they had, for example, the Maestro left alive, I think was a big deal, and then Slash's plays as well turned that around. But that was still a pretty good execute by SK, but it was the amount of time they spent pinching Shuttle and the amount of resources they had to dedicate to that really cost them. To be fair, though, they didn't lose anything doing it except time, but I think that was really where Shuttle did a fine job. The fact that he died didn't matter at that point.
No.
He forced them to burn so much time and forced so many people to focus on just him. Had they done that, say, 20 seconds earlier and succeeded at that, I feel like maybe that could have gone more towards SK.
Absolutely, because it was all Slash on the time delay, right? There's 10 seconds left and they're trying to push him through the door. Here's a smoke canister and barbed wire at the door, so you're going to die pretty quickly trying to push through that. As well as Slash just being in position, having the time to maneuver with a shotgun point blank as well to hold it off. If there's an extra 20 seconds on the board there for SK to push in on the attack through the service door, Slash doesn't have the smokes. He dumped 2 at the bathroom door to make sure that flanker coming through Lambo lobby wouldn't be able to make it in. So he only had 1 left, and thankfully there were only 10 seconds left on the clock. So Slash with a great play on the smoke. He'll pick it up once again as Rogue returned to Penthouse in the theater.
Well, we are at map point, though. This is a situation where, now, of course, they've won 2 of their defensive rounds, right? So they're on par with that. But if they can excel par at any point here, they will take this map. And this is, again, SK's map. So then we go forward to Villa, and that should be really interesting to see, which we get to see either way. There's some nice work coming out from the shock drone there. Gonna push them back. But again, they're trying to play that flexible roam. They kind of focus this roam around this 2-man team to an extent. And I think similar to what we saw with SK, it's working out fairly well. I think both these teams have a better handle on roam than we've seen from a lot of other teams. And I think that's making this coastline defense a little more dynamic.
I am just baffled that I, didn't realize this sooner, and what are SK doing on the attack? They have no breach, but they're gonna go for a VIP take of Penthouse in the theater anyway?
I mean, maybe they're going to be relying on some vertical pressure as well, coming from that buck, maybe from below, or just a straight horizontal push right on in through that doorway. But yeah, lack of ability to open up any of the wall, lack of a Habana, for example, seems like it could be something that costs them. But either way, they take out Slash early, and we saw how pivotal he was on smoke multiple rounds. So that is a great early pick that's going to help.
Shuttle on the roam game once again could come in from behind. Jarvis still repelled out the hookah window, though, so as I say that, he's going to get off and jump straight down to join the VIP push of SK. It's a 5-man push through seemingly 1 door and a window.
I mean, those are very coordinated pushes when they're at pinch, but like you said, pushing all through 1 doorway seems like a big problem.
Impact nade and futility sent out by Eclipse there just to try and repel anyone for a few more seconds, but it's the Blackbeard of Pojo that's constantly peeking this. The frag grenade will down Eclipse, and he's a rook instead of a dock, so Houghton doing a good job. Can't clean it up with the second frag grenade. Shuttle in a good position to come for the flank, though. As long as nobody's covering, and it looks like their one is currently on the VIP window waiting for Shuttle to entry in. If he can somehow make it past that attacker holding the flank, this will be detrimental to SK and could send us to map number 2.
Yeah, this is definitely a good defensive setup here, but it is going to come down to timing. They have much better time management this time, but there's the advantage to SK, or well, I guess to SK and the plant going down, but Eclipse getting a kill there.
Peeking in towards Hall of Fame. The walls are reinforced, so Eclipse can't shoot back. He's worried about someone above the bathroom hatch, and Super has also made his way into Penthouse. They're very worried about anyone trying to peek from the Hall of Fame, and they've got a man repelled outside the big window. It's Hot and Cold who's going to gun down Super as he tries to stick in for the defuse. A run out, but Hotten's going to reject that as well. 2v4 now in a 5v3 scoreline. Easily going to be the next man up to try and either challenge Hotten or go for the jump out. He's going to be successful, but Nyx from behind will clean them both up, and SK will remain alive. Push this to round number 10, the last one of regulation.
Well, in this case, I definitely think like the early pick on Slash is what cost them, because he was the one to deny the defuse plant, and because he was dead so early, they weren't able to do much to delay the actual push into the room. And then, of course, I think it was Eclipse on Rook getting downed definitely did not help with that defense as well, and the timing from the flank just didn't happen at the right moment to be able to stop an actual plant from happening, or at least distract them from it. So that just came down, again, I don't fault Slash, but I definitely think his death early on is what gave SK the opportunity, the window to be able to make that push. It was nice that Eclipse was able to get picked back up, though, and try and help clutch that round. Just at the end of the day, didn't work, but that only gives SK one more chance here to get to overtime before they potentially lose their map. And there is an interesting 6th pick coming out from Shuttle. Something we have yet to see on this map, I believe.
That's exactly what I was going to ask for. As I was going to say, if we're going Penn Theater and they're going to do this again with no breach, that's a fascinating concept to me.
To be fair, it worked, but I think it worked more so because of the smoke kill.
There are stupid things that work.
Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine there's strategy behind it that we just don't know as well, and I think it was dependent, though, a bit too much on pushing through a single doorway, and a smoke would have done more damage to that. You saw even Eclipse trying to just repel it with an impact nade because they're all stacked up like that. Maybe a well-placed C4 from somewhere might have worked, but
that's what I'm thinking with Shuttle here. If he gets the pulse in below, their plan really is to get one man in through the confusion, whether it's Jarvis with the asphyxiating bolts and the smoke canisters, or Houghton just launching frags in there. They're trying to add the confusion to get one man into plant, and everyone else is playing for post-plant, banking on it to go down.
If you think about it, while there is a cement floor or whatever in Hall of Fame itself, VIP is openable. If you open an angle at the end of VIP where it meets Hall of Fame hallway, you could angle up a C4 that would probably get 1 to 2 kills from behind. If you were able to play that smart with a pulse, you know exactly where they're stacked up. Launch that at an angle, something we've seen done on Coastline multiple times. I don't know if that, I don't see any holes to indicate that that's his plan, but that is an opportunity that he has as Pulse to stop that push through that single door.
Well, it was a 2-man stack up inside of Hall of Fame. It was Pojo and Nyx, the Blackbeard and the Zofia, and taking down both of those. Oh, Slash almost getting taken down by Pojo with the pre-fire. Again, remaining ever so aggressive on that big window and the bathroom hatch. And thankfully, he'll get back to safety. Once again, it's his job now to stay alive even longer, though, because like you said, the smoke canisters would have really stalled out that round again for SK.
Well, they had better time management last time. Let's see if they can do it this time. Roamers could probably do a better job delaying them, but Jarvis taking a lot of damage here could really help. If they can finish Jarvis off, that will actually cripple a bit of their attack and put them in a position where the Roamers will have the opportunity to set up for a retake or even go for some flanks earlier on while they're setting up for their post or for their execute.
Big thing is also going to be getting Houghton off the big window. Jarvis might go for a reset as there's still myriad of time remaining in the round. I just don't know if SK are in a position to do it because they are pretty spread out right now. Like there's the consensus push over by VIP to come down Hall of Fame. Slash going to use his first smoke canister at 1:25, so a little early, and that might have actually sailed out the window.
Yeah,
there we go.
The
second one hits the window frame. Peeking in once again is Pojo the Blackbeard. More drones going to be spotting out Slash in behind the penthouse bed, but Eclipse is going to drop Hot and Cold from the big window. A massive kill here for Rogue, as that was the deterrent for anyone going for the defuse last time around.
Yeah, that was definitely great bait by Slash, and distracting him just in time for that run out. The fact that Eclipse is still alive out of it too is definitely going to be a big problem because he's in a good position to run up to support any kind of hallway place. And you've got that Evil Eye as well there from Easily on that Maestro is still alive. The Pulse still able to provide information. SK are super stalled out at this point.
45 seconds. They're going to try and get another man in. Pojo's got Diffuser. Oh, coming off the Evil Eye, just not in time. Minton and Nyx both get one. Eclipse going to trade back onto Pojo from inside of Theater with the 416 Slash. Inside of the bathroom shower stall now. But the Pulse is off the board. Shuttle is gone early. Super getting a lot of pings to possibly pre-fire through the soft wall in VIP. SK, 20 seconds remaining. They have to collapse down upon the site. Jarvis never got his reset, and he's still very low on HP, but Nyx's going to win another engagement. Also down very low in the health department. Rushing through is Slash to get back to Theater as he's going to come back to safety, and he hits the headshot. Another one down. It's all up to Jarvis. He deploys the smoke, rushing in, and that's going to end it. Super with 2. Rogue going to take Coastline 6-4.
All it took was winning one more defensive round, and SK could pull off. And that's the thing about this map being so attacker-sided. You just got to get those defensive rounds. And in the end, going over to Rogue, who I think despite the close scoreline, did a very, very good job playing on this. And of course, this was not their map pick, but they were happy to play on it. And you can see why. We talked about those penthouse defenses. They had 2 successful penthouse defenses, showing that maybe there's some potential for that site yet. And again, a lot of that came down to Slash, because guess what? The 1 round they lost, Slash died on it. So definitely some interesting ways to play it, and I look forward to seeing other teams trying to adapt similar strategies. But you also pointed out some good flaws in SK's attack strategy, not having any kind of hard breach, despite the fact that there wasn't any kind of active denial of